Good morning. I'm Michelle from standing a little bit further away that you can still hear me but without the echo. Okay. We'll figure it out. Part of quality management is that we actually all want to get better together with you. So maybe if we can pull up the next slide, then I would shortly present you what we did. Two of our deliverables are to... Is this?
Sorry, this next slide is here.
Oh, thank you. So two of the deliverables we set out in the proposal to do is support all communities in establishing, implementing so-called plan, do, check, act quality cycles. So we have actually a very transversal topic addressing all the communities. And the other deliverable, let's put that off for a little bit because that's only towards the end of the funding period, is a peer review of our quality management processes. So why do we do quality management, or what's in it for you? We do quality management because we believe that everyone in Unite will profit from it. We do quality management not only on the project level, but on the strategic level. As the expert team quality management, we set out to help you, give you tools on hand that you can track. Is my activity aligned with the strategic goals of Unite? And this helps us all to be on track together, to move in the same and right direction, and to keep an overview of everything that's happening across 9 communities with 9 partners, so you all know how complex this is, and we want to help you to reduce that complexity and have a good way of seeing if we're on track. What is important for us this year? Yesterday we had a very exciting meeting, first in the academic forum, showing our implementation approach, then with the community coordinators, introducing them to our approach, telling them it's coming up for them. And so this is also what we set out for the rest of the year, that we want the communities to get started together with us. And we will meet again with them very shortly, end of March, but then also in Wrocław again to discuss quality goals, community-specific indicators. Yes, and what we recognize during this dialogue is how important it is for us as an expert group to come together and work together, how fruitful that is, but also how fruitful it is to work together with the communities on those transversal topics. And I would take 2 more minutes of your time with the next slide to show you something that we are very proud of, that we developed and showed to the academic forum and showed to the community coordinators. So this is our Unite quality goals. And if it's overwhelming for you at the beginning, I ask you to focus on the purple ones. The purple ones is what we determine as common Unite quality goals. If we want to be successful in the long term as an alliance, we are looking for added value in everything that we are doing. We are looking for enabling participation and co-creation. We are looking for things that are attractive, easily accessible, equally accessible, easy to join, and we are looking for high impact, systemic and structural things. So this is something I invite you to across, no matter what you do in Unite. Common quality goals, if we stick to all of them, if we try to remember them, then we're already doing a very good step in being successful. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to present the results of the workshop for student engagement. So if we could go to the first, thank you. So basically, from this first slide, what we can say is that the group felt that the SLOs, the student liaison officers, should be in direct contact with SURE and student associations to streamline the communication between what we're doing in Unite and the student community at Alliance level. We came up with different possibilities, different ideas of how to do that. We thought about dissemination at Welcome and Orientation Weeks, Arrival and Career Days as one of the possibilities. There's also the idea of the student festivals and activities typical of a country as an incentive for students to participate in Unite activities. If we could go to the second slide, please. Now, cooperation with communities, in general, what we can say is that, yes, students should be somehow involved with all communities, but we would like to draw your attention to these 4 communities, 5, 7, 3, and 9. 5, the educational offerings that Unite has. Of course, it's probably the core of, or, you know, it's one of the, I'd say, main things that we should focus on probably, or most likely. 7, PhD, is also connected with 5. 3, diversity, inclusion, and well-being, has students obviously at the core as well. And 9, in terms of communication. In this case, we actually thought and spoke with the students a lot about communication in the sense of what is the message that we want to deliver, and how can actually the students then deliver that message to the student community. And if we can go to the third and last slide, please. Support for SLOs. Here, I think SLOs agree that one of the main things that we should do now at the very beginning is have the framework for the academic framework from each partner for the SLO, so they can actually be familiar with the partner's academic framework, and in this sense, maybe identify what would be the best way to collaborate with each and one of the partners at an alliance level. And then finally, the organizational structure. We agree that maybe monthly meetings would be the best way. And for sure, these meetings should be between the SLOs, and the SURE community should also be involved. And with that, I think that it's pretty much everything that we did yesterday. It was a very fruitful meeting, and that's it. Thank you.
Yes, we are going to switch a little bit the slide because Rubén has a train to do. And so you can.
Merci bien, France. Merci Pierre, France, Lucie, aussi merci professeur Jacine. C'était vraiment un plaisir d'être toujours à Grenoble. C'était vraiment 2 jours fantastiques. And thank you so much for the open dancing that we had yesterday. We are the group of Open Science. We have discussed plenty of times what is open science. Open science is about sharing of knowledge, but it's also about producing knowledge with new stakeholders, also by the use of new technologies. Last time that we met in Torino, ChatGPT was not there. Now we have a new technology, and it's the beginning. That is disrupting the way that how we learn, how we are going to research, and how also going finally to produce new knowledge. So our working group has been, during these years, exactly understanding this disruption. And we have produced guidelines, we have produced as well tools to support this transformation at our universities and other European higher education institutions. We produce the roadmap, these are the results, and this year, by June, we are going to produce the handbook, and by the end of the year, the whiteboard, the white paper. So the handbook is a set of procedures and guidelines to achieve the objectives of the roadmap, and the final white paper is a tool for supporting our university managers and policymakers on the adoption and implementation of these procedures and guidelines that we have, that we will include in the handbook. So this is the results of work in package 6. So what is the status? So we are finalizing the writing on the handbook in the coming months. We have a group of handbook writers from all the at the beginning, 7 partner universities. Then we have also agreed during these days the next policy, Open Science Policy Forums. So we will have on 26 April, the 3rd Open Science Policy Forum focused on the improvement of open science competencies. Also on 20 June, Open Science Policy Forum focused on the opening up of digital and physical infrastructures. And finally, we will organize at Aalto University by the end of the October, the final Open Science Policy Forums, focusing co-creation session with our university managers, policymakers, for the adoption of this and preparation of these open science policy strategies. So something that we conduct here, and it has been led by the colleagues of the University of Lisboa and the colleagues of the University of Grenoble Alps, is also a joint co-creation session with our colleagues of Working Package 5 to explore what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, what are also how these tools are disrupting also the way that we are assess as our researchers at our universities. So we have explored different models that the different institutions has adopted, different as well tools, on how we are going to assess research in the coming years. So the idea is, and my colleague Beatriz later, she will also debrief about this, but move forward a new research assessment framework by also collaborating within the Koala coalition that all our universities are part of. And, well, we have really exciting years ahead also to move forward this idea with other European Universities Alliance. And, well, what is next? What is, because the project will end by the end of this year, our Horizon 2020. So we also organize a funding opportunity workshop. And I think that we all agree, and also my colleagues Maria and Anna, and also Arnaud and Federica that are also online, and also the Jürgen, so that Working Package 6 can provide training, can provide skill development, can provide capacity building for our research and innovation support services, can provide policy guidelines for our policymakers. So we want also to apply for the seed funding, and also we are exploring the wider proposals. Yesterday we have a very lively discussion, and we want to support our students, our researchers, students, not only doctoral students, because a doctoral student is not a student. It's an early career researchers. Students are the students of bachelor students and also the students from master's master degree. So we want to also expand this skill development to these students, and we want to support as well the researchers, the research and innovation support services, the university managers, the policymakers on the adoption of new open data, open access publishing, citizen science, and transdisciplinary research, open science practices for the sharing and production of knowledge in the new digital era. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm here on behalf of Work Package 2. Please. Next slide, please. May I have the next slide, please? My time is running.
Yes. Could we have the next slide, please?
It's very exciting content.
I agree with you.
Sorry. It doesn't work?
Does not work.
Well, the work package is, okay, thank you. So the work package regards to build up a common research and innovation agenda, sorry. And now we are working, we have made some deliverables, specifically one related to the common strategic program, common for all the members of the Alliance, and now we are working on the pilots. This is the general format of all the work packages. Next slide, please. So the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so, anyway, so the idea is that we're working as an important deliverable that we will have at the end of the year. We have working on the guidelines for further developments within the Unite community. So this means what are the ideas that can be developed in the H2020 project, and then these are starting ideas and how should them developed. Unfortunately, we don't have this funding for the second phase that eventually will be covered by the WP3 project going on. But the idea is that to show what is the different aspects that could be invested, the governing platform eventually will decide what would be the most important ideas. So this is just to show to the internally, but also to do some lobbying to other institutions. Next slide, please. So the two pilots that we're working, one is to create community of experts. In the project is said open network. It's a community to have common language with the Erasmus Plus project. And in fact, we agreed in that the days previous to the dialogue to offer a workshop on a specific topic. Eventually, it will be energy transition. It will be informed in due time. And actually, the idea is that to have a two-track workshop where we could invite young scientists or early career scientists to exchange ideas, and also to cover a kind of matchmaking event, more focused on creating the network, the community, and also looking for possibilities to apply for the coming Horizon Europe goals. So this is one of the pilots which more or less crystallized, and we need to work out the final details, and you will inform soon. And the second pilot regards, next slide please, regards the construction of the network of research support offices of all the Alliance, which is called IRIS. And in fact, the idea is that it should be a connection between the offices to give support in terms of the whole Alliance. So the idea is that this is being work being on. So the idea is to have in a few months a list of R&I services available for members of the community. And then also including a kind of a proposal of how to train a specialist in this area, in the area of offices of support. This is what the work going on, and we have as a challenge to present the first ideas of the future developments for the next governing platform in September in Brussels. That's it. Thank you.
Yes. So we will have a few seconds because we have to switch different slides in the PowerPoint. So it will be ready soon, and then I will press the button to have the next slide.
Okay, good morning. Work package 3 for H2020 is dealing with sharing research infrastructures. So basically we had 3 main tasks. The first one was to list all research infrastructures among the alliance. So we did this. We went even beyond what was promised in this H2020 program, because we built informatic tool with sharing functions, which make this more easy to update, because you cannot have a static list. That's nonsense. So we have this, and this is available in the Meta Campus now. So that is the first task, which is done already. And the 2 other are still ongoing. We want to have a comparison between the operating modes of research infrastructures. We have listed more than 100. So we selected 13 of them from each partner, and we try to compare them to build some operating models in terms of booking system, pricing, management of IP issue, and this kind of thing. So this is a currently ongoing work, and that should be delivered with a kind of handbook, which should be available for research infrastructure managers who would like to look for another model, improve their own model, and this kind of things. So this will be delivered at the end of June, I think. That's the handbook. And the last point is that we don't want to have a open loop work with only people which are offering services. We also want to test this. So we launch 2 pilot projects, one on energy, the other one on living labs. Energy is more sharing hardware, living labs is more sharing data, so that's two complementary examples. So that gives us a vision from the user point of view. And we currently had a PhD student from UPC, which has spent some time in KTH for a research issue involving research infrastructures. And the feedback that was delivered in this dialogue was very interesting for us, but because it really pointed out that in our comparison, we forgot all what is user-centered. We just put the vision of the RI manager and not on the user. So that will be done in the end of the year. So the last slide is the conclusion of the dialogue. The actions are for PhD students and maybe in the future master students also. Of course, it's pilot phase, so it's really limited. So actually, we just have 1 PhD student at this time, and maybe another one in the following months. For academics, we would like to develop synergies. Of course, when you share infrastructures, normally it's for research projects, so we should have research data. During our discussion, it came out that we were able to launch already 5 research projects together. 2 of them are in the pilot, and some of them are other activities. And in 23, because it's the last year of H2020 project, of course, we will finalize the handbook, and we will finalize the feedback from pilots with hopefully some research papers, research results, maybe open science, open results, and we have the feedback and recommendation. So we had an interesting work together, which was more efficient than online meetings for investigating the result of the surveys, because we interviewed some research infrastructure managers to investigate their operating way, and we did this during these 2 days. That's all.
Can I? Yes. That's perfect. So, and to go. Okay. Good morning. So, in No, this is not mine. It's work package 5, not 4. Okay, so okay, this is mine. So in work package 5, these days we had a lot of exciting meetings with work package 6, as Rubén said before, but also with community 3. So this was very enrichment, and we got a lot of good conclusions. So generally, our work package wants to collect and analyze the best practices and existing policies in human research strategies. That part we have already finished, because the project is going to finish in the end of the year, and we are now going to the second stage, which is design, develop, and propose methodologies, tools, and guidelines for different areas. So we are working on mentoring, gender diversity and inclusion, and research assessment. Our global goals is the integration with empowerment of young researchers, and also sustainable and responsible assessment of career development of researchers. So going to mentoring, we want to reach a common agreement on a Unite ecosystem to empower the young researchers. And to do that, we, at the end of the project, we would like to write a collaborative guidelines for mentoring young researchers, and these will include different aspects. In one way, we are going to include definitions, or what is mentoring, also the resources that we need to organize a mentoring program, and all the mentoring programs that are already on. And this is something that sometimes we think that mentoring is just for young researchers. But in a way, it's not just for young researchers. Senior researchers need to share their views and to reflect on their career. And so it's something that is transversal to all the stages of a researcher and their careers. So, and then we also have, well, of course, the mentor and mentees pairing and relationship framework, and we are also have a pilot, and to identify the needs for a future project. And in terms of diversity and equality and inclusion, we want to reach a common agreement on the Unite ecosystem to empower young researchers also, and all the community. So for that, we have a close collaboration with Community 3, which are also interested in this kind of topics. And we are going to write some guidelines on gender equality plans, because all institutions need to have a gender equality plan. So it's important to identify the needs for all of us and the needs of the Unite community. We would like also to create a Unite repository of best practices from all of us, and a training program open to all communities. So we have different trainings in all of our institutions, and we want to create something common to share with all the community. So promote diversity, equality, and inclusion within the pilot. So we have already did because this was a requirement from the EU, and in the previous evaluation, so we are going to contact all of the work packages in order to understand and start this reflection. So last but not least, we are going to talk about research assessment. So in this part, so research assessment is something that all researchers struggle. If you're a young researcher, you struggle because you need to apply for a position, and you don't know the best way to do that, and what is the career that you need, or what are the steps, what is best for your career in order to do that. And also the ones that assess young researchers, they don't know how to do it more transparently and also more efficiently, and to choose the best candidate. Because we have a lot of quantitative issues that we use when we are doing assess, and we need to improve that. So we have a close collaboration with Work Package 6, as Rubén said, and we organized an event here about that, and we discussed some of these issues and some of these struggles in order to understand what are the next steps. So to do that, we are going to propose some guidelines for our common research and assessment framework, and in this framework, we want to assess, we want to go into all the researchers' career areas. So we talked in this workshop, we focused on research and how to go and move from a more quantitative way of assess to a more qualitative way of assess in order to be more transparent, more open, and more fair. And we are going to also look for the teaching, knowledge transfer, and management. We have performed previously a survey, and we have a lot of results. So we had already a deliverable that we answered to these, but we want to go further in order to try to define which are the guidelines that we need and that we want to propose to the EU. So, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, bonjour, also from my side. I will give you an overview of Work Package 7, which focuses on the societal outreach to include the citizens in our research and innovation scope of the whole alliance. And just to give you a little overview and recap, we have in total 3 deliverables, and we already submitted last year our first repository of activities. We collected basically what is already in place within the alliance, what kind of outreach activities do we have, what kind of SDGs are targeted, so to really have an overview of different channels and tools to address citizens and include them also in our research and innovation activities. And also, very importantly, we did a mapping of our different societal stakeholders to be able to have a consolidated list of stakeholders which we will be including, or we have already included in our pilots. So yeah, this year we focus on the actual tools and pilots for outreach activities. We actually have already conducted 3 pilots. We had 2 European Researchers' Nights on energy and smart cities. We had, together with the Hope Foundation here in Grenoble, but also online activities on energy precarity, energy poverty. We had a session with them yesterday, actually, which was very, very fruitful and yeah, helping us to shape the strategy. And we also had different mapathons organized by UPC on the topics of inclusion, energy efficiency, and we will have another mapathon in soon. I think at the moment as we are speaking, they are preparing it in Lisbon on emotional cities. So we are very excited to have the results soon. And then all the focus this year is actually on our final objective to write and develop a white paper for a joint strategy for societal outreach. Yeah, so our emphasis this year will be that we will analyze the pilots. We have started already with some questionnaires to get some input from the different target groups. We, as I just said, have the focus on writing the strategy or guideline, white paper. We are still in the process of finding the right terminology, what we actually can do with the next 9 months, which we have left. We will have a digital workshop with our stakeholders. We have 3 different sectors here, the civil society, the private, and the public area. So we have already some results here from interviews, but we really need their input also when we show the first draft of our strategy. Yes. What we will also do during the workshop is, of course, not only get the input from the stakeholders on the strategy, but really also on our pilots, so we can continue developing them even after we have finished the Horizon 2020 project, because it will be finished this year. And again, collect feedback to improve the ideas on the white paper. What was really interesting the last 2 days, it was very intense. We had different meetings. I mentioned we had one stakeholder meeting with the Hope Foundation, which was very enlightening, but also we decided that we have a smaller task force on writing the strategy paper, which will be presented in the monthly meetings in the Work Package 7 meeting. We will for sure include community in doing the process of writing the strategy. We also want their input, of course, from the students. And we had a very good meeting yesterday with Community 9, in order to not work in parallel, but really use the intersection between Community 9 and Work Package 7, because, as we all know, we will finish soon, but Community 9 is ongoing and has many, many topics which are already covered in our work on outreach, global outreach. So we have started to discuss, and we are very happy to have such fruitful discussions already in the first meeting. And then, of course, we want to present, we have to submit the strategy in November, but before we want to make sure to also have the input of the vice rectors before we finally submit the strategy on outreach, because we want the input from everyone concerned, the community 9, the students, but also the strategic level of the university. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can briefly recap the work package 8, which is the work package in H2020, which deals with finding good ways how we can very concretely collaborate with other alliances in research and innovation. And here what we are doing is basically we analyze the whole thing about a European university alliances, what is there, what are the different goals in research and innovation of the other alliances, and looked at them very closely. And it's tightly linked to 2 pilot activities that come out of that. And then we are on the concrete side, which is matchmaking that we are organizing with other alliances on research and innovation, and in particular on sustainable energy. So this is the pilot focus, and we looked at the cluster program in cluster 5 of Horizon 5, and that's what we did. So let's move on. So because just to say what Juan said, we have this matchmaking event in conjunction then with the work package 2. So here we will have in Wrocław an event that will be organized together with work package 2. But to briefly recap what we have already achieved in this work package is mainly one event that we had organized in Brussels recently. And you can see some numbers here. We brought together 80 academics of Unite universities for this whole exercise, but on site then we had like 20 academics and 12 research officers. So we really narrowed it down to those people that at the end will lead a certain topic, so that would really take the lead for a Horizon proposal. And at the end we had 4 very concrete proposals that were discussed with researchers from Unite and Uno Europa. That was the other alliances. We did it together. And it was really a success, we can say. So basically, when thinking about it, one comment from one participant comes to mind. She really said, I wouldn't have had this consortium right now. I wouldn't have started even this Horizon proposal if you wouldn't have provided me the opportunity to contact. This is particularly true for young researchers. Of course, the experienced academics, they have their well-established networks. But when we are providing such schemes, it's really helpful for young researchers to find new consortium, to find new ideas. And this is definitely something we are closely looking at and trying to also do and repeat in the future, be it like together with other alliances or to be it within Unite. So the working package team of that actually didn't meet during the dialogue, but that was just due to the fact that most of the people in this work package were pretty much occupied with governance and management meetings. But we had a lot of talks around it during the breaks, and already like more streamlined the idea for the next matchmaking workshop, which we will probably then run with an alliance with a more science tech focus. First one was with Uno Europa. They are comprehensive, so they're covering also social science and humanities, but the next one might be with another alliance which also has a similar focus than we have. So that's it. Thanks.
Yes, so we are going to skip work package 9, which is on communication, because the same subject will be dealt by community 9. So, yes, you can. Please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bonjour. So I'm the head of the Community 2, the digital campus of this wonderful project. And what we are doing is we are doing currently 2 deliverables. You see, for example, with this great team on the left side. The one is that we are making this digital campus framework. We make requirement analysis and bringing together the technical infrastructures of all universities. And we, of course, would like to make recommendations and good examples within this project so that everyone or every work package, every community might be a good example as to how we can deal with digital technologies within such great environments. Our expected actions are, of course, that this digital campus, of course, you can think that it's very, very broad, but of course, we would like to go further here, and we would like to leverage this digital technology to carry out for the Unite Alliance. We're concentrating in this 4 years on 3 key strands. We internally called it. The first one is the meta campus and teaching support. So, of course, we are concentrating on the education of our students and lecturers. Then we will like to get a step further towards the European student card. And you see, we will also concentrate on integrating different kind of services. So we just need on different ways. And this based on a requirement analysis and a clear picture of the technical infrastructure, because in the background it's really very complicated. What have we done, or what we will do in 2023? Currently, we are working on the requirement analysis to present the digital educational infrastructure of all partners. Yeah, that's the first things we are currently doing. Then we will develop a kind of decision making, because every one of you might be using digital technologies within your daily work, and we have to think about how we can handle feature requests, how we can handle further developments, how we can fulfill wishes from different perspectives. And we, of course, would like to dive into more discussion with all of you, with all uniters, we like to call it. Yeah, and that's our graph for that. Yeah, and the end is just join with us the survey. Yeah, you maybe have seen some airplanes. You might also at our events, and we are happy if you're writing us to this email address. Yeah, so let us fly.
Hi, everyone. So I'll be presenting the conclusions for Community 3. Oh, just wait 1 second. I need my guide. So we basically are divided into 3 groups, and I will be presenting the conclusions for each group. Expert team, sorry, try to use the right name. So for the diversity and inclusion, our expected deliverable is an inclusion office, and we will we are expected to provide actions for students, staff, and faculty, and that's what we will try to work on. And we will start with developing an inclusion common repository with material that already exists from the previous project, which was UNI, the Unite Network for Inclusion. We will also be developing trainings on inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. And we have already established a model to gather information from all partners. The same for the certification program, which we have already established a model to gather information as well. For these 2 days of work, we decided on organizational aspects such as meetings, workflow, etc. And we also created small working groups for specific tasks so that we can better run our work. For the future, we are also preparing outputs to properly make information available, and we will also be working with other communities and with Metacampus and communication to better promote the information for inclusion and diversity. For the well-being expert team, our main deliverable is a strategic framework, and we have been starting to work on that as well. We won't be defining well-being, we will rather be framing it in terms of body, mental, emotional, and social health. We will be developing special support programs for also the Unite community and for the local communities from the partner countries. And we are hoping on a snowball effect, starting with the work being developed in Unite to be transferred for each partner to use and promote well-being inside their institutions as well. We will be designing a well-being guide, which will be starting with good practices from each partner. So we will be collecting that information to start developing the guides. We will also use the Unite community as beta testers for this guide and to provide recommendations that each partner institution can use on its own behalf and to also promote well-being inside their institutions besides Unite. And we will also work on a well-being buddy system. For 2023, we will benchmark the universities within the Alliance to prepare the guide. We will analyze surveys to define our priorities, and we will create a Unite Wellbeing Buddy Board. And last but not least, the Welcome Center expert team, whose main deliverable is to create a welcome center for Unite. The expected actions are mainly for students, and we will have the Student Festival, which I'm sure everyone has heard of, which is for students from all the Alliance to come to Lisbon in June, July. Applications are taking place now, so tell your students to apply. And we will also prepare welcome kits for degree-seeking students and for exchange Unite students. This is to help them prepare for their activities when they need to move within the Alliance to either study, research, or work. And we will also be preparing joint student events, so having similar events or common events at the same time within the Alliance, and this will be the nighttime letter writing, which is a project that won the Unite for Future competition, the last one, and the certificates were presented last night at the gala. Things like the European Researchers' Night or volunteer programs, and we will also have a Unite welcome strategy. For 2023, we have the Student Festival, which is our big event. For the welcome strategy, we will start working on an annual journey calendar, which is something like collecting information from all partners, not only the academic calendar, but also timelines for applications, for nominations, for applying for a master. So we will try to do, which will be a very complex job because we are 9 partners, but we will do something to help students move around the Alliance and the projects that they want to do with their lives. And we will also collect information for the welcome kits. In these 2 days of work, we decided to establish a profile for the expert team members so that we can better align their contributions to the work that needs to be done. We started collecting information for the welcome kit, and we decided on the frequency of our meetings that will be every second Tuesday of the month. And that's it for me. Yeah.
Ça marche? Ça marche.
Don't worry, we need to put your upload of file. So don't worry.
Okay. Donc.
This is a new version of the slide which comes.
Okay. Donc, bonjour, messieurs, mesdames. Hi, all dear colleagues. Here's a summary from our community for innovative teaching and learning. So first of all, general expected deliverables, of course you can read them from our proposal, but they're listed with the words of our community experts. First of all, pedagogical module to support joint degree programs and collaborative courses, and capacity development focused on those two joint programs and collaborative courses as well. We'll also focus on this building good practices for large-scale teaching and engaging teachers' communities. One of those deliverables listed in our proposal was also this online toolkit. And there are actually two working groups focusing on that. Then one concrete deliverable will be this engineering hub operational distributed course. And we are also serving, analyzing, and democratizing of existing both virtual and physical learning spaces. And of course, we have this multilingual and multicultural expert team now in our community. So their knowledge and skills and all these tools and methods will be integrated not only to what we do in community 4, but also into many other communities' work.
Okay. Hello. So just continuing with what Minna Karina was saying, we can summarize this into activities for 4 different kinds of people. We have students, we have academics, we have administrators and educators. And we have to work with all of them, either creating things or creating things for them. So mostly for academics and administrators, we work together for creating collaborative courses and joint programs in different kinds of formats. For students, we make sure that these offerings are done with the support of our pedagogical team. We have a really very diverse team working together. And for the educators, we are creating these pedagogical trainings and designing these online toolkits to support their pedagogical development. Very briefly. How do I put this, the next one?
There.
Yeah.
Okay, so next year, this year, we take the first steps toward these our deliverables, starting a survey, focusing on this both collaborative virtual and physical spaces. And we will set up 2 working groups. Actually, they've already been set up. And these 2 groups will work for this joint program and European degree, and the other one for collaborative courses. And they start to mapping more processes and so forth. And actually, there's a bit mistake there that this form expert teams to support EU project and proposal is something that these 2 working groups are doing. So it's not only related to European degree. But as probably all of you know, Unite is also now a part of this European degree label pilot. And that work is situated in our community. And then there will be, not this year, but next year, there will, in addition to this engineering hub course I mentioned previously, we also have this boot camp. So these 2 will start the preparation phase for these 2 will start this year. And then in this multilingualism and multiculturalism, experts will focus on this policy and also building tandem programs and these language and global competence courses, both for students and staff this year. Okay, I bet you don't need it.
Yeah. So the final thing, that we are still working with our teams to figure out that we are all working with the right skills and the right background and working on the right team. So it's still a process. These couple of days, they have been a reflection of the objectives that we have, what we need to do, where we want to get to, and we realize that we need to reach out more to the teachers to find out what are their needs. So in that sense, we are sending out these surveys for finding out what are the needs of teachers, and so we can communicate the message better to them, what's the value of Unite. And we are also sending other kinds of survey to identify these creative learning spaces so that they can be better identified and developed. We are also centralizing tools for sharing our information in a better way. And finally, one of the takeaways that we have is that we can create some good learning outcomes in our educational offerings. For example, to integrate better the multilingualism and multiculturalism element in our courses. So that can be something that it's not separated, but it's rather part of what we do within Unite in the trainings for students and for staff and for academics. Yes, we're going to be piloting a few interesting hybrid courses using blended intensive program formats or new collaborative online international learning frameworks. And that's it for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next slide are going to come soon, but you can prepare yourself for Community 5, I think.
Okay, I realized that I'm actually matching the furniture in this room. My name is Johanna. I'm the community coordinator for Community 5, which is the flexible educational offerings. Our general objectives, I would say, which also relates to our deliverables, it's to create administrative tools and frameworks to enable and develop and the running of flexible study paths. So it's kind of creating sort of the box around the study offers, but also to collect and promote the educational offers that we do have and that will be created in a more structured, coherent way with a more sort of coherent message, something that we haven't been able to do in the first phase, but something that we will focus quite heavily on in this one. Because the student group is our biggest target group. I'm sure you can all agree on that. And what we want to do is offer them different mobility formats. Because we have the traditional semester credit mobility, not all students have the opportunity to go on a semester exchange. What we can do is provide additional mobility formats, which are shorter mobilities, blended mobilities, virtual mobilities, and thus also being more inclusive. Because, I mean, looking at us, we're 9 universities, how many students do we have together? It's like thousands. But to be able to do this, we need the academics. So we will also be working very, very closely with Minna Karina in Community 4. And this is just a sort of a very, very brief overview of what our expert teams have been working on during these past days. Community 5 is very much a continuation of the first phase. We're not sort of imagining many new things. We're drawing upon our experience and what has worked well and the ideas that we really feel that we believe in. Andreas mentioned on Tuesday the virtual exchange credit program, which we will continue with a further rollout and expanding. We will design the concept of the U-Train together with student representatives. And the U-Train is actually an idea that was developed during the very, very first dialogue at Aalto. So this is something that we are now trying to realize using the blended intensive program funding as well. We will explore the seed fund, which I think is a very exciting opportunity. And looking at the traditional semester mobility and seeing what kind of agreements do we have, what are the existing agreements, what are the mobility flows between the non-universities, and what are the other subject areas which we haven't really sort of looked into, but that we can sign agreements for. And working more with internships, looking at research labs as opportunity for internships, and also utilizing the meta campus more for sort of promoting the opportunities. So this is just very, very sort of brief overview of what they have been working on. And what I would like to emphasize very much is the need to meet regularly. Zoom, Teams, very, very good tools, but sitting in the same room as someone and actually, being able to work, it's a completely different story. So to meet regularly. What we as community coordinators would like to sort of also stress is to foster the culture in the expert teams. Because we rely on them to do the work. We put a lot of responsibility on them, because that's where the work actually happens. But we're also here to provide sort of guidance and such. But to foster a culture of openness where everyone feels safe, I would say. Because if we have an open culture, we have expert teams that do work, everyone sort of respects each other, then the work will be much, much easier. And we had a very good meeting with quality management yesterday, and I think quite a few of us can say that we're not too scared of quality management anymore after hearing that presentation. So this is something that we need to work with, because what we develop needs to be sustainable. I mean, we're here for the students that we meet on campus on Monday, but what we do should also be available to the students that are here when we, in this room, have all retired. So quality management needs to be ingrained to what we do. Yeah. Thank you.
So, hello everybody, I'm Madeleine, from the coordinator for the Community 6. So, our community is dedicated to the professional development and training for all staffs. So I know that depending on each country, sometimes staff means everybody, sometimes it means only administrative and technical staff. That's why we want to precise that faculty, administrative and technical staff, everybody working in our universities. I just put the general expected deliverables that we have. Some are concentrated on the content, working with others community, and some are concentrated much more on how to organize, how to structure the process we will have to do in Unite. So, for instance, we'll have to develop a program for interculturality and multilingual competencies, of course, in strong links with a multilingual and multicultural team. We have to enable tailor-made mobility, This one is much more focused on how to organize, facilitate the individual mobility within Unite in general, with no content. It's just for every community and everybody in Unite. The fourth one is how to organize socializing activities, also for all staff. Facilitate for the fifth common trainings and develop a guide to support mobility and career for young teacher researchers. Of course, in strong links with the WP5 of H2020. Both are coordinated by Julius Bohr. And the sixth is to compile a Unite annual training program and well-being actions in links with the Community 3, but much more dedicated for the well-being to staff and, of course, organization and work organization. Yeah? Not only the diversity and so on, but much more on work organization. So we could say that we are here to support and coach professional development and well-being, of course, for all staff, part of Unite and beyond Unite. That's our objective in general. I put just a small rounds to show that the fifth expert teams are, of course, working together, and there's a lot of lab together. And the difficulty for us is that in the former Unite, we were 20, and now we are more than 60. So as you see, we are a lot now in a room. It makes a lot of people. So we had first to know each other and to organize each other. That's why we didn't have time in this dialogue to meet some other communities, because we didn't have so much time to do everything we wanted to do. So how we will work will be in 3 parts. Of course, there's collaboration and co-creation with other communities and work package, and not all of them are here. Please, don't be frustrated. There's also the community 3, the work package 5, the quality management team, and so on, okay? Because we are transversal, we have to do transversal actions and organization. Of course, we have to collaborate with a lot of communities and teams and work packages. What we will do at the beginning for the 23 and maybe early 24 will be inventories and surveys to precise some needs, to precise some things like what is European values, for instance. If we want to have a program on European values, we have to precise what is it. We have to have also a survey on an inventory on what is already done on trainings for faculties and administrative staff that could be already shared, and what we could also propose, coming from the other communities, as we already said, but also something new. And our first draft will be for the team 6.2, a portfolio program based on language, cross-cultural competencies, and European values for all staff. And the team 6.2, a first draft of the manual for Unite individual staff mobility, because we hope to facilitate and easier the mobility from everybody within Unite. And we just have a special message, because in the team 6.4, 3 partners are already involved. So please, we are inviting the others to join so that we could propose much more socializing activities. Thank you, everybody. That's it.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for my voice, but it's the winter time. And I will introduce the Community 7. So we are dealing with doctoral education, and I share this coordination together with Fátima Montemor and Jean-Luc Schanen, whom I thank for the vice coordination. So basically, it seems that our goal is very simple because our deliverables are setting up some common PhD programs and PhD courses in terms of catalog, and a sort of harmonized system which will be the United Doctoral School. What we realized during the first project was this is just bloody tricky, because we have the problem of the differences between countries. So we have different laws, different regulations at the regional level, at the faculty level, departmental level, PhD program level. So from this point of view, we have to try a certain convergence, and we have to capitalize the work done during the first project in the second one. In this moment, we try to decompose this complexity. So we have a first milestone, which was fixed in the project, which is rolling PhD candidates to follow the 3 tracks, which are somehow the pilots in sustainable energy, artificial intelligence, and Industry 4.0. Why? Because in practice, we want that they are testers of the system we are building up, but also co-designer of this system, together with the representatives of PhD students and the PhD candidates we already have in our PhD programs. So from this point of view, the outcomes are aligned with all the outcomes of the Unite project, but let me speak about the actions. First, for sure, we have to take care of this intake, because in the period of time we have in front, 4 years plus 2, we should have 2 groups or a team of PhD candidates finishing their experience and able to test everything until the final dissertation and the defense of the thesis. So in this sense, the initiative which was proposed by the Science Foundation, Portuguese Science Foundation, through our colleague in Lisbon is very helpful, because we have the possibility to enroll 30 candidates in this moment. So we set up the academic boards to set up also the topics, the collaboration between research units and groups between universities, to have the possibility to enroll those people dealing with the co-tutel agreements between the other allied universities and Lisbon. The time is quite short, so there is this deadline to collect the proposal, but the academic boards already start in dissemination in all the universities to get this kind of information. The second action, which is very interesting and important, is the training. And in terms of selecting the research activities for the PhD candidates, the topics also for the scholarships, and in particular to have a clear design of the PhD programs. To do this, we are resorting to the activity of the experts inside the 3 academic boards, in addition to the 9 working groups who are working inside this community. The idea is to be ready for the next academic year, because they have to start the career inside the PhD, and therefore all these things should be set up conveniently and suitably. Action. We have to develop the legal framework. This is the real core of the difficulty. To set up not only the governance of the school, but for instance, a suitable Erasmus agreement to take care of the mobility, to decompose the problem in terms of steps. First, taking care of an enhanced mobility between allied partners, setting up a co-tutel agreement which could be a sort of a common co-tutel agreement for all the partners, or at least for a couple of partners, considering the differences and the local regulations, and even to include the collaboration together with our industrial ecosystem through the industrial doctorate. From this point of view, obviously, creating the ecosystem is a matter of discussion. This obviously is not completely done inside this community, but is done in collaboration with the other communities and, in particular, the project H2020. And the idea is to resort to thematic communities and also to KICS, IT, these kind of initiatives. But another quite important deadline is the milestone related to the proposal of Marie Zlodowska co-reaction in this direction. So this is also another important issue. A very important issue is the funding of this activity. So we ask to our rectors, to our university, to assure that, according to what is written inside the project, at least 4, in practice, PhD candidates during the 4 years could be enrolled for each partner in such a way that we can create this team of co-designer and tester, and their scholarships, or at least their position, depending on the contract of the different countries, are funded outside the funding of Unite. So the problem is that this funding has to be found directly by the university. This was written, but we won't have also confirmation about that. What about the role of the actors? Students are very, very important at different levels. Students in terms of the pipeline coming from the master to the PhD in terms of attraction. Students in terms of PhD candidates in the admission step, or in terms of representative, because all the representatives, and in the group we have many, will co-design, obviously, this activity. From this point of view, we need, from the academic point of view, a team of legal experts. I mean, not only lawyers, but people dealing with doctoral education, knowing very well the local regulation, national laws, and so on. And we are setting up this. And from the other point of view, we need the infrastructure and the technical communities, obviously, to create the environment for the research activity. And part of that, the academic boards are already working. The good news is that this huge group of people was set up very effectively. The community is very well populated, and you all contributed with the expert of doctoral education. So we started very fast, and we are working very well. So all the coordinators of the 9 tables contributing to decompose this complexity already presented the planning during the last 2 days, and so we are running. We hope that we reach the end. Okay, thank you very much.
Hello everyone, Mariusz. I'm coordinator of Green Community of Unite. So my role here is a very simple one, to make it short. This is one purpose. Another one, to promote our community, because we are waiting for more members, and to let you know what we achieve via this dialogue and before. The main mission somehow of this community, which is informal, is, for the moment, I have a feeling that everybody can say here that how great is being Unite. I hope that one day you will have also ability to say how green is being Unite. Not yet, I understand, but we are doing everything which is necessary in order to prepare our alliance to measure the level of green university. How green are our universities? How green is our alliance? It's of course conceptual work, which means that we have to start from very theoretical problems to create the standards, to create requirements, to create indicators, etc. However, this is not only about the concepts. The main work plan is also about green actions in the campuses, about thematic communities, about additional new communities, involvement of students, involvement of young researchers, and finally, to make our educational offer bigger. Bigger in the direction given by the needs of green transition, which is obvious that we have to do this. And what we have done, in terms of concepts, because of this meeting, it was a great opportunity to open discussion about green standards, but not to open in classical sense, but to open the floor for contributing in terms of improvement of existing draft of green standards. This draft was prepared already and now is under discussion. In next 4 weeks, is expected that we will finish that discussion and it will be ready to somehow implementation. Implementation in order to find out useful, not useful, tell something, no information, what is the value, etc. And this is in the framework of theoretical concept. So expected action is just having first common draft, not only common concept, but first common idea written in the document how to make our universities, our alliance, sorry, better to say, more green. In the framework of this community, there is some tangible action to create additional educational offer in general. Micro-credentials, lifelong learning, etc. It needs to be supported by needs analysis. But before needs analysis, we have to exactly know what are our expectations in view of the result of needs analysis. It is why the first assessment is expected very soon or quite soon. But to do assessment in appropriate way, we need to have the principle. The principle means green standards. So it is why it is more or less organized like this. Of course, any additional details about the work plan, about the actions in the community, you can find on the user system. Feel invited to visit, to see, to read green standards, and so on. And I think because time is running, that's all for the moment. I hope you will have opportunity to say one day how green is Unite. Thanks a lot.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elisabeth Arnaud from UPC, and I'm the new coordinator for both Work Package 9 and Community 9, which is why I'm presenting here, and I'll be presenting both projects together. And since I'm the new coordinator, my first words should go in recognition of the work done by previous coordinators and by an excellent team. So I've divided this presentation into 3 parts corresponding to communication, outreach, and impact. And please treat this as work in progress. So for the first part, the strategic communication team, we have a very strong team that has worked a lot for many years. So it is a pleasure to present these conclusions that have been co-created by the team. So I'll summarize this very briefly. I guess that you're already familiar with the expected deliverables, both for H2020 and E+, and it's basically a dissemination communication strategy for our alliance. So some expected actions here, immediate actions. The first one, to create an Instagram channel to communicate with students and to disseminate our initiatives to students. So basically, we'll be working on a strategy and pave the ground for the new SMO, the Student Marketing Officer that will join the Alliance soon. Also, we're keeping an eye on the Student Festival, so there will be work on a campaign, post-campaign. For academics, we also run a campaign on seed funding to disseminate the seed funding initiative. And for all Uniters, you probably know that on UShare you have plenty of resources to disseminate all initiatives that are taking place within Unite. So there are guidelines and materials to project this Unite image. immediate actions for 2023, sorry, to rebrand and structure the website, and also to define the key performance indicators to improve Unite channels. So we have specific working groups working on that. And these 2 days have been very productive. So I'm sorry that as the coordinator of a transversal community, I haven't been able to talk to members from other communities, so I hope to catch up in the future. But these 2 days have been very intensive, and some of the results that I think will interest you will be the idea that the SCT team will work on improving and making suggestions for making the most of the communication potential, which is a lot of Meta Campus, so that our initiatives are amplified and disseminated throughout the Alliance and beyond. Also, I think this is important as well, because a communication contact person has been nominated for each community and work package, so that we don't miss information about what's going on in the Alliance, which is a lot. So our aim is to improve communication flows. And of course, we've had time to meet in person, and this is common to other communities, and we've really achieved a lot, so that we've planned and scheduled upcoming projects, which we hope to present in the next dialogue. So this is Community 9 and Work Package 9. Now I'll move on to Community 9 specifically. So in the new E+ project, we have task 9.6, which is outreach activities. So really the aim here is to come up with a strategy for outreach. And so some expected actions, because this is really starting. We've only been working on this for a few weeks, so we hope to present more at upcoming dialogues. But the first thing that we would like to do is to form the team. So we're now creating the core team, the coordination team. So we hope to have, as someone put it in the coordination team, to have an arm in every university, so that we respond to the different sensitivities, ways of working, and we can work in different languages to really reach out to different target groups. So I would like to call on different universities to nominate and engage key persons from each university. And one of the actions that appeared in the proposal was training uniters in outreach skills. And here I'm very excited, because yesterday we had a conversation with the coordinator of Work Package 7, Pia Schmitt, and she mentioned, oh, you're here, so I was looking for you. Yes, and I'm very excited, because you produced a lot of work, of excellent work, so I think that we have material that we can actually implement, and doesn't end with a policy document, but it can be brought to practice. So, of course, this could be part of the outreach team and the outreach strategy, together with other strategies. So I've had the chance to talk, even if very briefly, with some people, so I look forward to more meetings on that. Actions: analyze what is being done in different universities and identify key targets for outreach, and start outlining an outreach strategy. So it's not very ambitious for the upcoming months, but we would like to plan an outreach event in one of the 2024 dialogues. I don't know which one yet, based, of course, on the key topics that are dealt with in Unite. And we have this conclusion, which is basically linking Community 9 with Work Package 7 outputs. And finally, there is another task that has to be started. We haven't started yet, but we plan to start in the coming weeks, months, but in the short term, which is impact. And it corresponds to E+ task 9.7, which is exploitation and impact of results. And I like the lemma here, making the most of Unite. So we need to form the coordinating team and outline a strategy in order to call on the different KLOs from the different universities to nominate the specific people for the impact team, and we'll define the profiles according to the strategy. So we'll keep you informed on that. So basically the actions that we're planning are forming the team and start working on impact strategy, and as immediate actions, gather evidence of impact indicators of different actions and initiatives. So some conclusions, very brief, drawing on the input done from SCT, because they have been working on impact for communication, so we'll expand that. And of course, we need to connect with those people who know about indicators and measuring. Basically, we're thinking of the quality management team, and of course, the rest of the communities and work packages in order to select and showcase evidence of the impact of Unite activities in order to make the most of Unite. So we'll keep you informed. Thank you very much.
So now Pierre Benej, President of Grenoble INP UGA, we're going to say a few words about Grenoble University, on behalf of Grenoble University. Before you are coming, I want to say a few words about the activities that we will have after the dialogue meeting. So for skiing and for a visit to La Bastille, we will start at 1:15 in front of this building. And for the visit to Sierra showroom, this is at 2:15, and people who have registered have been given the information they need to enter the building. So please, Pierre.
Thank you very much for the discussions and for your involvement in this 7th dialogue of Unite. I want to thank all the teams involved in the organization and all the participants for the 3 days of intense work. They made this event dynamic, creative, and proficient. From the final presentation we have just listened to, we can foresee many new Unite common activities which will involve many students, academic, and administrative staff. These diverse activities will reinforce the sense of belonging to the same European community. Your work on the digital campus is quite impressive. The digital campus is indeed the windows of our alliance, and therefore a lot of effort should be devoted to building it, filling it with all the activities you proposed, and maintaining it a long time. It is now clear for all of us that the Unite Alliance activities will set the pace of many common activities in Grenoble and increase further the international dimension of our universities. In this respect, the timely announcement of the seed fund will also reinforce the action undertaken by Unite universities and help us to work collectively and efficiently. Another example of common activities is the preparation of WIDERA proposal impulsed by Lisbon University and Wrocław Technical University for the benefit of all the Alliance. That's to your active participation, the drafting of this challenging project made great progress during the dialogue. The dialogue gathered also the students from SURE. Their involvement in Unite activities is a core element of the success of Unite Alliance. We are very thankful for their motivation and contribution. To finish, I want to express my gratitude to our dear Tanya and Andreas Winkler for their warm support and attention to all communities, students, academics, researchers, administrative staff, and president and rectors. I will now transmit the torch for the organization of the next dialogue to our colleague from Wrocław Technical University. Thanks you all again.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Dear colleagues and friends, I will move forward. No? It's coming? Okay. So I don't know which presentation will be uploaded. Maybe this 40 slides. So, yeah, should be fine. I should finish before 1. But if not, sorry, still waiting. Ah, okay, that's me. That's my name, yeah. So I'm Piotr Rutkowski from Wrocław University of Science and Technology. Yeah, great. So it is my immense pleasure to invite you all to Wrocław, where next dialogue will be held, 21st September 23. So that will be 8th Unite dialogue. And I think that we'll at least try to make it also so intense as it was here, not only for work, but also for social activities. So when you come to Wrocław, meeting point or meeting place, and if you have problem with pronouncing Wrocław, so you can just read it Wrocław. So that is, yeah, that is good. So you can make a short exercise now before you go for lunch. You can repeat Wrocław. Bravo. So that's good. Very nice city. We hope that you will be how to say, excited visiting the university, but also Wrocław as a city, as a very, very nice place. And last slide, campus is getting ready. So just after coming back to Wrocław, we are starting the next stage of preparation for dialogue. So you are invited. We are waiting for you in September. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you very much. So basically everything or almost everything has been said. So I will be really brief and will not talk long, but there's some like closing message I can give or just add to actually what Pierre Benes was just saying, to give some agenda items to, and messages from the Unite governing platform. So we really see, and it's true that really Unite is supported and endorsed by our leadership from all the universities. It's really a strong message that we always receive. And it has been discussed in the Unite governing platform, our strategic board and decision-making board of our rectors, to, as you said, to continue our research and innovation endeavors in the WIDERA proposal, to really be engaged there as a complete alliance. So we are really looking forward to this development. And another message for education, it was also clearly mentioned that we should work more on pooling, sharing, and disseminating our educational offerings that are already there. I mean, all those joint educational offers that our universities are anyways doing, even without the endeavor of Unite, that are there on the table. So we can really use that to also promote and pool and share that. And of course also those academic offerings that we are opening up because we are Unite to other partners. So that's also a strong message that was sent out by the rectors. But now to finally really close the dialogue, I would really also like just to say a warm thank you to our hosts for this event. It was really a great thing, yes. I think it was absolutely great to see how much community building we did in the last days, and this was really thanks to the wonderful, perfect, beautiful organization of Grenoble INP and UGA. And in particular, I would like to thank France and Lucie, who really were leading this organizational team. So a big applause, please. Yeah. Thank
you. Yes. And I warmly thank all the people who helped us, because there were many people to organize these things, and I will not take the time to thank them all now because it will be too long. But thank you to all of them.
So let's close with a big applause also for ourselves. So please.